Alright, I know you guys are probably wondering what I'm doing with my albino garter snake here, because even though this vlog is going to be talking about retic pythons, but since I tried to get Ellie to come out here because she's a python species, she wasn't cooperative, so I had to go pick up something a little bit easier here, and that's my guy Tyson here, my albino checker garter snake, and so far, since I brought him out here, he's actually kind of enjoying the sunlight a little bit here. He's not like squirming around as much. He's literally just like putting his head down and he's kind of like absorbing some of that UV sunlight there. So the point being is that I want to actually discuss on like some things about reticulated pythons, and that would be, do retic pythons make good pets? And even though it is sort of kind of a 50-50 thing, like some people say they're terrible, but then again, some people say they're pretty actually cool looking pets to have. So that's going to be the discussion for today's vlog, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Tyson inside before a bird tries to come down and try and take him from me. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So when it comes to reticulated pythons here, guys, a lot of people may not realize it, but the retics are actually the longest snakes in the world, where literally there have been some individual ones that have been recorded to about as long as about 25 feet long, and so far, that's not even a record. Somebody's car alarm is going off. So reticulated pythons are obviously the longest snake in the world, and there have been individuals that have been recorded up to 25 feet long. But the biggest one I have seen in person, you guys, was about the exact length of this measuring tape right here that's stretched out. And it's literally, it could stretch all the way out to 25 feet, but I've already measured, it could just barely get 23 feet, but the biggest retic in person I've seen was right at this 20-foot mark right here. So that's a huge retic, you guys, and there is certainly crazy how big they get. So, and obviously some people are saying some retics make good pets and some don't, but let's go ahead and actually look up and figure out to see what are the pros and cons about having a reticulated python as a pet. So one of the pros actually about owning a reticulated python is one of the most interesting things that I like about these animals is their intelligence. And reticulated pythons have actually been studied and for a number of years, and they have no doubt have shown probably one of the, if not top 5, top 3 most intelligent snakes in captivity, you guys. And it's just amazing to see how these snakes behave, whether it's in the wild or in captivity, because when somebody is trying to, you know, offer food to a reticulated python, it doesn't just randomly come right up and take food so quick like that on normal retics do anyway. It actually senses its smell, and it obviously checks it out before it strikes at it, trying to figure out, okay, what am I dealing with here, you know? Because it obviously doesn't know if it's a predator or if it's prey. And if it recognizes the scent of it as a prey item, then that's when it goes for it. So, and it's kind of really neat at the same time. So obviously they're a lot smarter than a Burmese python for sure, you guys, because Burmese pythons, they will just strike at whether if it's friend or foe. So, but yeah, that's one of the pros about reticulated pythons that I like, is the intelligence of them, because they're no doubt definitely smart animals for sure. So the availability for reticulated pythons here in the US, you guys, many years ago, like 25 years ago, many of them were imported out of the wild from parts of Southeast Asia, you guys, here into the United States. And some of them as babies were relatively inexpensive, probably like about $100 a piece. But over the last 10 years now, there's been many different morphs of reticulated pythons that have been produced now all over the country. There's like, whether if it's like pied retics, cow retics, ghost retics as well. There's tiger retics out there, so many different kind of morphs out there for them. There's motley golden childs out there, you guys. There's tiger citrons out there as well. So yeah, and those kind of morphs recently, within the last few years, they have really skyrocketed, costing into the thousands, everybody. And yes, thousands of dollars here. So a normal baby reticulated python to this day, I think it'd still be around 100, 150 bucks. But if you wanted to get something more like a normal albino reticulated python, that's probably going to be close to at least 500 bucks, if even that. So, but yeah, importing and in availability, the price for them has really gone up in the last 10 years, so they're kind of inexpensive. But if you just want a normal retic, it's probably going to be the cheapest one you're going to find. But again though, a normal retic, it's going to get pretty big, at least 20 feet long. So now we're going to move on to caging. And when it comes to retics, you know, and you're trying to find the right size cage, it's not that easy, you guys, because when baby retics are born, they are not itty bitty snakes. They're not like 8-12 inches long, you guys. Baby retics are literally like, I don't know, like 2 to sometimes maybe 2.5 feet long when they first hatch, and they're pretty big babies, you guys. So for example, like obviously a 20-gallon tank, like my corn snake is in here, you guys, for example, it's not gonna be enough for a baby retic. It's not gonna be enough. Not even a 10-gallon tank or a 5-gallon tank or a vertical cage here as well. You're gonna have to really step it up a notch. And minimum for starters is probably like a 60-gallon cage, you guys. Is probably a minimum, because like Burmese pythons, you guys, retics, they do have a fast growth rate if offered food the right way and properly. So it's definitely very quick. So in a full-grown reticulated python, it's going to need a monster-size enclosure, you guys. We're talking about maybe, I don't know, maybe like by 4 foot by 8 foot by 8 foot we're talking about here. So, and yeah, retics, you guys, they are not small. They are big snakes, you guys. These guys get big, and they can literally weigh about 200 pounds. So it's definitely not a good idea to get like a small enclosure like that. It's not gonna work, you guys. It's just gonna feel a little too it's gonna feel cramped in there. So it's always best to, probably for a minimum, like I said, for a baby starter, 60-gallon tank, and then maybe within a couple of months, 2-3 months from then, I would go shoot way out to at least a 120-gallon tank then. So, but yeah, it's definitely important to figure out what size tank you guys are gonna get if you do want a reticulated python. So, because again, these snakes aren't going to stay small, you guys. They're going to grow, and they are going to outgrow their enclosures, whether if you like it or not, especially in ones like this. It's going to outgrow it quickly within like 2 months. So definitely not a good idea to get a small enclosure. So keep that in mind, you guys. Very important. And obviously, if you guys need any help figuring that out, there's other professional reptile enthusiasts out there that keep retics, you guys. So, but yeah, again, small enclosure like 20-gallon, definitely cross that off the list. Minimum 60-gallon or more. And finally, the last important thing about owning a retic, you guys, is food for them. And retics, you guys, again, like I said, retics are big snakes, you guys, and these guys are going to need some big meals for them eventually once they get really big. So for baby ones, we're talking about probably some small to medium-sized rats, probably, because small mice isn't going to cut it for them, you guys, because retics do like decent sized meals. And like I said, for juveniles, small to medium rats, but once these guys reach towards 10-12 feet long, we're gonna range from jumbo rats to possibly small rabbits. So, and yeah, I know it's kind of harsh to say that, but that is what people in the reptile community have been feeding their retics and Burmese pythons, all that stuff. They've been feeding them frozen thawed rabbits, you know, and actually I think on rare occasions even piglets, maybe? I don't know. It's probably just uncommon, but mostly frozen thawed rabbits, you guys. So, because like I said, reticulated pythons being the longest living snake on the planet right now, they are going to need some good sized meals. So if you can't find a breeder that, you know, has rabbits, that passed on from natural causes, if you can't find a breeder anyway, then it's probably not a good idea to get a reticulated python, you guys. So, but yeah, important to have a food supply for your retic, you guys. It's very, very important, and it's always good for juveniles. It's best to feed them every 7 to 10 days, but towards adult size, you want to feed them like every 3 or 4 weeks. So, because these guys have a slow digestive system, so it's very, very obviously important for that, to keep track of their food feeding schedule. So, with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and end this video, you guys. So, tell me what you guys thought about this topic that I covered. So, but nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead in this video. So, I promise I'll see y'all in the next one.